And we are back. Welcome to an all-new episode of Buckets and Dimes, Nuts and Bolts Sports NBA podcast. Today I'm going solo, Joe Cardoso, doing this one time without the homie Patrick Hilwig, who was on a cruise enjoying vacation. So shout out to Bree, shout out to Pat. Hope you guys are having a fantastic time. But like I say every week, the NBA doesn't stop and the show must go on. Have a couple of people joining me today too to talk a little bit about the NBA and what's going on as we got free agency coming up very soon. And of course, we have the NBA draft, which is coming up on Thursday as well. We crowned a new champion in the NBA. Pat called it, Raptors in 6. The Toronto Raptors won their first ever NBA championship for the franchise and also for the entire country of Canada. A crazy scene out there yesterday. Almost 2 million fans flooding the streets of Toronto to celebrate the Raptors championship. Drake on the team bus as well, getting his FaceTime. Unfortunate incident. There was some shooting that went on to the parade, but the parade continued. No one seriously injured, thank God, in that event. You think about almost 2 million people and the word shooting, and you think disaster as far as stampede and possible injuries and even borderline death. But according to most reports I've read, things went on without a hitch outside of that shooting. Definitely don't want that kind of stuff happening during NBA championship parades, but that's the world we live in, I guess, this day and age. Now we move to the offseason. Be interested to see what happens with both teams. Of course, Golden State Warriors having Kevin Durant, who can opt back in for $31 million or become a free agent. What happens with Klay Thompson? Yes, he's coming off a torn ACL, but did they send an extension with Klay Thompson as well? And then with Toronto, of course, the biggest question when it comes to the Toronto Raptors is going to be Kawhi Leonard. Is he going to re-sign having won a championship with the Toronto Raptors, or is he going to explore free agency and possibly leave that team? Of course, the usual suspects are being talked about when it comes to Kawhi Leonard being from the California area. The Clippers are definitely in play. Of course, the New York Knicks, who I'm sure are still trying to get over the fact that Kevin Durant, like the rest of us, are trying to get over it, ruptured his Achilles tendon. You also have some teams like the Brooklyn Nets, who as well have money to spend and could also be major players in the Kawhi Leonard sweepstakes. Or the 1 year in Toronto, winning a championship the way they want it, might be enough to convince the Claw to stay. So we'll have to see. A lot of interesting things going on in the National Basketball Association for sure. And then, of course, we had the trade that we all thought was going to happen during the season, but it had to happen after the season. Anthony Davis is no longer a member of the New Orleans Pelicans. He was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. And man, I got to give Griff, the president of operations, Trajan Langdon, the general manager down there for the New Orleans Pelicans, major props, because I think they got a heck of a haul in this trade. The Pelicans get this year's number 4 pick. They get 2 more first-round picks, a draft swap in 2023, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Josh Hart all call New Orleans home now. Definitely some good young players to match up with the number 1 overall pick they have this year, which for all intents and purposes is going to be Zion Williamson. So New Orleans went from a place nobody wants to play to a place that has a lot of options and should have some pretty good talent there come the Friday morning. I also would expect to see Drew Holiday possibly get moved either on draft night or before the NBA draft begins. I mean, you figure that guy's a 10-year veteran. Does he really fit that up-tempo system that Alvin Gentry wants to bring? That Golden State Warriors 2.0 Southern version he's trying to put together down there in New Orleans. Is Drew Holiday the guy to run that? Or are you going to get Lonzo Ball and perhaps another person in the NBA draft that might be better suited to run that system? So something else we're going to have to look out forward to. It's definitely going to be exciting to see what happens with the New Orleans Pelicans. And if you're Los Angeles Lakers, man, of course you hate to see people injured. You want to take on people when they're at their best. But at the same time, it is what it is, man. I mean, you're talking about a team now that has Kyle Kuzma, they kept, and I've been saying it all the time. I'll keep on saying it. Protect Kuzma at all costs. So Kyle Kuzma is still a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. You have LeBron James, obviously, one of the all-time greats, and now Anthony Davis playing for a winning franchise, being in a major media market, all those things that should make him be his best version when the season starts. And then a couple of dollars also, too, in the salary cap. I mean, Anthony Davis earned his trade exemption, so he accepted that. It's going to take their cap number down to, I want to say, $27 million instead of having 32 to spend for the Lakers, but they'll figure it out. I mean, you got guys for the last 10 years that have been taking less money to play for certain teams or play with certain players. So I'm sure the Lakers will figure it out and get another major star to go along with that LeBron James, Anthony Davis combo. People like Kemba Walker, is that a guy that might go to the Lakers? Do we see a reunited Kyrie Irving and LeBron James again? Can you think about that lineup, Kyrie, LeBron, and AD? Because if there's a time to take on the Golden State Warriors and have a chance to win, it's going to be now. Yes, Steph Curry, greatest shooter of all time, one of the best players in the history of the NBA, but he's going to be without Klay Thompson for probably almost more than half the season. You can't see Kevin Durant playing at all next year. So this is the time now to strike, and also the other teams in the West. If I'm the Oklahoma City Thunder, you might want to figure out what happened, what went wrong, what moves can we possibly make. If there's one guy that can make things happen when you think nothing can be possibly done, it's Sam Presti and the guys that work down there in Oklahoma City. If I'm the Portland Trailblazers, yeah, it was cute and nice to make it to the Western Conference Finals. It was awesome as a fan of CJ McCollum to finally see CJ get his just due and get talked about on a national level. Damian Lillard, of course, one of my favorite players in the NBA. Also with that bye-bye wave, game-winning shot, big game Dame, had a fantastic season. Another squad that maybe makes a tweak here or there to improve their team and also make it possible for them to possibly contend for an NBA championship. So things are wide open in the West. And we're not even talking about the Eastern Conference yet, where you have the Philadelphia 76ers. What do you do with Tobias Harris? What do you do with Jimmy Butler? Are those guys or one of them getting re-signed by the 76ers? And it feels like just yesterday we were talking about how great this Boston Celtics team was. You had Gordon Hayward. You had Kyrie Irving. You had Al Horford, Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum. I mean, just a line of young, great players. Jaylen Brown, who were supposed to take the Celtics to the next level. A lot of infighting, injuries, and mistakes this season. Highly, highly, highly underperformed this team did. Now you have Kyrie Irving, who we know for 100% is not going to re-sign for that team. You had Al Horford, who opted out and becomes a free agent as well. Of course, there's always the possibility he can re-sign with the Boston Celtics. Al seems like the kind of guy that would make a move for the team. What can he do to give the Celtics more flexibility as far as being able to sign somebody and bring some help into that squad, so it's not just Al making all the money and the team not having any kind of cash left to sign somebody else. So there's a lot of things going on in the NBA. It is a crazy time, but it's also super exciting. And did I mention the NBA draft's on Thursday? So I mean, of course, we know that Zion Williamson will be the number one pick. It looks like it's going to be John Morant to the Memphis Grizzlies, number 2. RJ Barrett will go to the New York Knicks. He made it very clear the only team he wants to play for, work out with, talk to is the Knicks. And that's something we haven't heard in 10 years, Knicks fans. So you guys should be excited about that. And after RJ, it's kind of a crapshoot. I mean, of course, Porter Jr. out of USC, for all intents and purposes, you would think would be the number 4 pick, but you never know in the NBA draft. And also a question you have to ask yourself, too, is will New Orleans keep that number 4 pick? I mean, if I'm the Pelicans, I'm on the phone. I'm trying to either get more players, more assets. I mean, these guys are all in rebuilding mode. But the thing about it is, a lot of times when you rebuild in the NBA or any sports team, you have to wait a couple seasons. You get a piece here, a piece there. The Pelicans have an opportunity in 1 year to Thanos everybody and just change the narrative, change the way that team looks, the way they play. It's got to be an exciting time to be down there. That's a team that on draft night, I hope, and I'm pretty sure they will, ESPN has got to have a war room camera in the Pelicans offices. I want to see the reactions, see some of the whiteboard conversations that are going on, because like I said, this team has a chance to really change their fortunes. I'm a Washington Wizards fan. Will Bradley Beal be a member of the Wizards when we wake up on Friday morning? His name has been tossed around in possible trade scenarios as far as Lakers, maybe even going to the Pelicans, maybe the Wizards get the number 4 draft pick. I think if you're the Wizards, I mean, he's my favorite player on the team, so I say keep Bradley Beal. Of course, now, hindsight being 2020, John Wall probably has one of the worst contracts in the league. Definitely tough to move, but this is a guy coming off a major injury, just like Kevin Durant. You're not going to see John Wall back until probably, if he comes back at all, towards the end of the season for the Washington Wizards. If not possibly, the 2021 season could be the return of John Wall to the Washington Wizards. So a lot of moving parts going on. My first guest that's going to be joining me today has been a friend of mine for a really long time. We have a lot of things in common. One of the major things we have in common is sports. He is a social media running guy. He runs social media accounts. He does self-empowerment as far as getting your life together, getting organized, positive mindset. He's also a writer, podcast host. One thing I like about him the most is you talk about somebody who reps their city. He is from the state of Ohio. He reps Cleveland sports and Ohio sports so hard, even though we have battles because everybody knows I'm a Michigan football fan and the Buckeyes have owned us for the better part of the last, 8 years or so. So I've been trying to get him on the show. We always kind of seem to not be able to get our schedules together, but today the stars and the moons have aligned and we are finally able to get him on the show. He is a correspondent, social media manager for the 3-point conversion. At this time, I want to welcome to Buckets and Dimes, Mr. L.A. Broadus.
Buckets and Dimes, Nuts and Bolts Sports NBA podcast is on the air. And of course, we are going to be joined today by, like I said, our guest today is Mr. L.A. Broadus. He is a social media manager and also content creator for the 3-point conversion, among other things. Don't get it twisted. This guy wears many hats. What's going on, L.A.? How you doing today, buddy?
Doing well, and you?
I can't complain, my friend, man. How you doing with all this NBA madness?
Yeah, it's a lot of madness going on, man. A great time. Of course, we got the free agency upon us coming up soon. Then, of course, the draft on Thursday. So, it's rumor city right now.
Yeah, let's start off with that, man. You said the rumor city. First, I guess what I want to start talking with you is the Lakers and the Pelicans trade. I think it's a win-win for both teams. But if somebody put a gun to my head and said pick a loser, I guess you could kind of say, in my opinion, the Lakers, just because think about it. If they don't have the kind of results they want, their first-round draft picks are gone for a couple of years before they can finally start getting pieces through the draft to improve their team. But who do you think won or lost that trade?
To be honest with you, like you said again, it's a toss-up. I mean, there's a lot of things to like about both sides of it. If I had to pick a loser as well, I think I would agree with you to say the Lakers. Anytime that you mortgage your future like that, I mean, it could always have a big possible blowback. Then you look at the fact of Anthony Davis. He has not played a full season in the NBA, and I can't say how long. The dude misses a lot of time. Then also you're mortgaging your future on an aging LeBron James. And I know that he has been, quote unquote, indestructible for so many years, but we seen a major injury to him last season that, had him out for 20 plus games. So again, Father Time is undefeated, man. So we don't really know, but at the end of the day, Lakers had to do something to go all in. That's one of those historic franchises that's always dependent on the win because of their rich history. So they had to do something. They had to go all in.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. And speaking about LeBron, though, I mean, 16 years in the league, never a major injury, a kind of a fluke play with the groin pull. Yes, Father Time is undefeated, but I don't know, man. I feel like LeBron James might be family with Father Time. I just see no slowdown from the guy at all. If I had to ask you to look into your play NBA GM or look into your crystal ball, what else do you think the Lakers are going to do? And what I mean by that is, do you think that's a Kyrie Irving destination? Do you think Kemba Walker might sign there, or do you think they're done?
No, they're not done at all because as any team that has had LeBron James, you've seen it with the Cleveland Cavaliers, you've seen it with Miami. What they do is, they get LeBron. They know that he's going to be the cornerstone. Then they get him another player, which they did with Anthony Davis. And now they start to fill out that roster. If they still want to go the big three route, then I do see, and I went on record to say this, that I think that Kyrie, many people are saying that he's going to be in New York somewhere. But honestly, I think what was really big during the season is him coming out and making public comments saying that, hey, me and LeBron squashed it. We squashed the beef. And if another thing to look at is this. Yeah, they could go after Kemba, which, a lot of rumors are saying. But again, how many seasons do you have with LeBron to try to make it work, right? In Cleveland and in Miami, that first year, because there was so many players around them and so many new pieces, it took people a while to get used to playing with LeBron because he has a certain style.
Yeah.
So if I'm the Lakers, I'm going for Kyrie because Kyrie already knows how LeBron plays. And so therefore now you just got to get Anthony Davis up to speed. So that's a little bit, I think, quicker and a more accelerated timeline than, say, for instance, going for a Kemba Walker.
No, that's a good point because you don't lose that year. You don't have that filling out period. They can hit the ground running. Like you said, all you have to do is you just hope that AD can catch on quick enough. And even if he doesn't catch on quick